I returned to Italy after having been in Olga 2 years before that, in 1958. We got married in 1960. In 1958, I went to the Mediterranean with the Navy, operating off the coast of Lebanon during the Lebanon crisis in 1958. Spent 3 weeks there, of which the last 4 days I spent in Italy. The first day out of Naples, I went to Ala Capri, second day Pompeii, and then the last 2 days before flying back to the States, I was in Rome. Well, on the Ala Capri, took a little boat from Naples, went to Naples, to Capri. Capri is a small island, 3 miles long and a half-mile wide on the center, a figure of 8. Half-mile, and at one point you can see both sides of the island. Anyway, landed there, went up the hill to the little town of Capri, on the Ala Capri. Little town, working around. First thing I know, I'm on the other side of the little town, looking at the water on the other side. Walked my way back, came in back into the town from a different direction. And I got kind of lost, and I was wondering where the port was. So I was asking somebody where the port was so I could get a boat back to Naples. So there's a little perfume shop. I went in, and from out behind the curtain came out this beautiful girl.
That's me!
Anyway, we started talking. And I don't remember her ever trying to sell me anything.
You were the one selling.
We talked, and my famous 3 little questions has been told many times, but I'll say it again because it's part of it. Anyway, so we started talking, and you know, she got my attention just her appearance. And as you can see in the pictures when we got married. So I said, "Are you married?" And she was speaking enough English where we could hold a little conversation. I said, "No." I said, "Are you Catholic?" "Yes." And a third question that every young man should ask the girl that he first meets. You know, the girl he just met, the question he should ask, "Can you cook?" And to which he said yes.
No.
Well, I didn't know it then, but shortly after I realized I had found my perfect 5. You've heard of the perfect 10. There's no such thing, but there is a perfect 5. First, she was beautiful. She was single. She was Catholic. She could cook. And she had a job. Anyway, 2 years later, I go back, and it's 1960. And first thing you know, we're in a church, kneeling before a priest, and I had to start to learn a little bit of Italian then. And we were kneeling in front of the priest, and I could tell by the tone of his voice and he's looking at me, and the rhythm of his voice, I knew he wanted me to say something. So I said, "Si." And everybody in church was also looking at me. And when I said "si," it was the right answer. They all smiled. Everybody smiled except me. But it was a nice wedding, and we got in a little boat and went through the Farallone rocks. There's a big hole in one of the Farallone rocks, a cave, and we sailed through there. A lot of people go to Capri for their honeymoons. We left. But we came back. And then we had to come back to the States. So I went to the American Embassy to get a visa for her, but we first had to go to the police department to get a permit or clearance or something to the police department, formality. And it was days before I was scheduled to leave, come back, and had a job waiting for me in Virginia. And the day that we were supposed to leave, we still had this thing from the police department. So her sister Maria went there. Well, in her own way, she got their attention. Got the papers, went to the American consulate, got the visa, and we're ready to go. But then, and since Father Alberto here, you can understand what I'm saying. He understands that business, the pagan gods. Now, we Christians, And the difference between pagan gods and Christianity is that Christianity, we have a soul. We believe we have a soul, and we pray to God for the salvation of our soul, and we do good, moral things. Whereas the pagan gods, it was more, I'll honor you if you help me. You know, like during the war, there were war gods. There was God of the garden, God of the field, God of the kitchen. There were many gods. The Egyptians had gods. The Byzantines had gods. The Hittites all had their own gods, different gods, the pagan gods. They weren't gods, a comfort god that comforts the soul of the person. They were, you honor the gods, sacrifice to them in hopes that they would help you in whatever ordeals you want, war or whatever. And remember, the Romans, a lot of times they go to war and the battle went bad, so they believed that the gods weren't happy with them, so that's why they lost. So that kind of thing with the pagan gods. Now, Capri historically was an old Greek idol, and subsequently it became Roman. And all these had their own pagan gods. And if I was a Roman 2,000 years ago, I would have one conclusion: the gods were angry at me for taking her away from the island. So one of the first hurdle was the police department. I mean, it was down for a war. It was within an hour or two.